Hello, everybody. My name is Maxime de Wit, and I am the Global Head of Content for the Unity Distribution Portal. Today, I'm going to explain how you can access 1 billion potential new users on Android. But first, a big thank you to the GMIC organizers for this opportunity. My first GMIC experience was back in 2011, and it is amazing to see it going strong. So, this is a question I ask all game developers. Why isn't your game on all the other app stores out there? And the answer I get very often is, what stores? Some fast facts about alternate app stores. By 2023, there will be 1.7 billion gamers using them. And they will generate $5 billion of revenue outside of China alone. And right now, these alternate app stores are growing faster than the Google Play Store. The Unity Distribution Portal already reaches 1 billion users connected to these stores. But what are the challenges associated with distributing to these stores? First, you have to discover them and get on board with each of them. Then, each of these stores requires a specific SDK to be implemented and create a specific build for. You then have to submit your game and metadata to all of these stores through various tools and developer consoles. And finally, once your game is submitted and live, you have to track your game performance through separate reporting dashboards. And for each game, you have to repeat that process. Which makes the landscape look like this. The alternate stores each represent a distinct effort, sometimes low, sometimes high, for a revenue potential that is sometimes unproven, which is why, understandably, a lot of you answer, well, as much as I like the extra revenue, I'm not sure I have the amount of time or bandwidth to address these stores, and I'm really not sure what the ROI is going to be. So let's take a look at this in more detail. You have a game, and there are a few app stores you would like to distribute your game to. So let's start with the first one. You implement your SDK and create a store-specific build. So we gather the metadata following the store's requirements, and you upload it to the store using their developer console. And your game goes live on that store, which will then generate revenue, which you can track via their reporting dashboard. And you will do that for another store, another SDK, another build, another set of metadata, which is probably different from the first one. And you should go through the store-specific tools to submit your game. And again, another reporting dashboard to view your performance on. Same with the third game, this third store. You have an SDK, you have another build, yet another set of metadata, and another uploading process, and yet another separate reporting dashboard. And very quickly, your life can become like this. Builds, SDK, metadata, images, descriptions, developer consoles, uploads, reporting dashboards. So what would a more ideal world look like? What if there was a single SDK to implement in a single build to manage, a single set of metadata to gather, and you would upload it from a single console? Yet, you would be able to distribute to all of these stores, and the performance across all of these stores would be centralized in a single place. That is exactly the vision on which we built the Unity Distribution Portal. So how does it work? Well, there's a single SDK to implement, so you only have a single build to manage. You then consolidate your metadata in a single developer console, and from there, you choose which stores you want to distribute your game to. And then UDP does the heavy lifting of repacking your game and creating store-specific versions. Consolidating the metadata so each store gets the metadata they need. And finally, From the UDP console, you can submit your game to all of these stores all at once, and your reporting will be consolidated on the UDP console. So, which changes the landscape into this. All of the alternate stores that were previously scattered to the left and to the top of the chart now regroup in a single and low-hanging opportunity. Now that you understand how UDP works, let's have a look at how UDP can distribute your game to alternate app stores.
The Unity Distribution Portal enables you to distribute your games to multiple Android app stores through a single hub and using a single build, allowing you to focus more time on creating your game and making the process of distributing your game much easier. The Unity Distribution Portal, or UDP, currently supports games built for Android devices. It is supported on Unity versions from 5.6.1. However, Unity versions 2018.4 and above are recommended. UDP is free for developers and can be downloaded for use in your project using the package manager in Unity. It's also available via the Unity Asset Store. Once the Unity Distribution Portal package is installed into your Unity project, you can access and set it up by choosing Window, Unity Distribution Portal, Settings. To work with UDP, your project will need to be using a Unity Project ID. If your project doesn't already have an ID assigned, you will be prompted to create one. Once you have a designated Unity Project ID, you're ready to set up the UDP client. To get started using the Distribution Portal, you'll need to set your project up in the Unity Distribution Portal console. Head to the console by visiting distribute.dashboard.unity.com and log in with your Unity ID. UDP is free to use for any individual or organization with a Unity account. Once logged in, simply press the Create New Game button to add a new game project to your console. Then fill out the information about your game on the Game Info tab, including any promotional assets you'd like to use on the store page. If you've already got the project set up on the Google Play Store and would like to reuse the information from there, you can choose the Import from Google Play button to copy over the metadata of your game from the Google Play Store into your UDP console project. Simply copy the Google Play Store link into the field, and the console will autofill the fields based on the metadata from the Play Store page. Then add any remaining text or assets into your game's profile that are needed. The In-App Purchases section allows you to update the prices of IAPs for your game and set the prices for additional currencies. You can add and manage individual items, or you can import multiple IAPs at once using the Import Catalog button. We can also import IAPs using a CSV file in the Google Play format. Here you can download the template CSV file using the Download Template link. Fill in your IAPs locally and upload the file to add all of your in-app purchases at once. When you're done setting up your project, hit Save. Scroll down to the integration information and copy the client ID. Back in the Unity editor, in the UDP settings, paste your client ID and continue. Your project is now set up and its ID is linked with the Unity Distribution Portal. We can use the Pull button to get data, such as our in-app purchase entries, from the console. As you can see, the IAP that we entered earlier is now visible inside the editor. We can also create new entries in our settings here, and use the Push button to synchronize them with the console. Some implementation work is going to be required in your game code, mainly using UDP methods to manage your in-app purchases. The UDP documentation will guide you through these steps, and you can find a link to it below. When you're done setting up your project and you're ready to deploy your game to stores, build your project in Unity. It's worth keeping in mind that before deploying, you should test the UDP build in the sandbox environment so you can be sure your IAPs work well before committing your game to the stores. When you're done building, upload your APK files in the binary section of the console and create your package description. Notice how changes to our in-app purchases have been synced from the editor. We can manage the currencies of our in-app purchases one at a time, or use the Convert button to automatically set global currency prices on our in-app purchases. We can use the Manage Languages dropdown to add additional language support to the store metadata for our game. Let's add the French, Italian, and German languages by selecting them from the list. We can fill out the copy ourselves for each of our languages we wish to support. Or if we already have a Google Play Store link, we can import the copy directly from the Google Play Store using the same buttons as before and the localized URL. When we're done with our game information and ready to release our game, choose Save and then choose Release. We'll need to create some information about this release, so enter a revision tag and some release notes, then choose Release. You'll then be prompted with the app stores available for your release. With UDP, it's completely up to you which stores you want to distribute to. Simply select from the available stores in the list. You'll need to sign up to each store and link it with your UDP account in order to register your game. When you've registered with the stores you'd like to use, you can also choose the countries you'd like to deploy your game to on each store. When you're happy with your store setup, choose the Repack Game and Submit to Store option from the dropdown and choose Publish. Repacking takes your UDP build and clones it for each store you're submitting to. It will remove the sandbox component of the package and replace it automatically with the store-specific component. This allows you to submit your game to a store without needing to include a number of unnecessary SDKs. The Unity distribution portal automatically creates a new build each time and only packages it with its required SDKs for the store you're submitting it to. After repacking, you may then be presented with a pre-submission dialog to help with any issues or changes that need to be made for successful submission to a store. Once any changes have been made and your submission is ready, you'll be prompted to continue. You'll then be taken to the status page as UDP begins repacking and submitting your game. Congratulations! Your game should now be submitted to multiple stores. To see how your game has been performing on all of your stores, you can use the Reporting tab in the console. You can use the drop-down to filter the report across all stores or an individual storefront. This page gives you information such as monthly active users, retention rate, installs, gross revenue, and more. The Partner Stores tab shows an overview of all the stores available to submit to, with more coming soon. To learn more about each of the stores you can distribute with through UDP, choose the Read More link. As you can see, the Unity distribution portal makes it fast and easy to distribute your game across multiple stores simultaneously.
All right, now that we've seen how UDP works, let's sum it up. With UDP, you no longer have to worry about the store-specific SDKs. You only need to implement a single SDK and manage a single build, and distribute your game through a single console. You retain full control over your distribution and gain access to new distribution channels. So now let's take a look at the stores that are available through UDP. There is the Samsung Galaxy Store that is preloaded on all Galaxy smartphones and tablets that are sold worldwide. It represents 400 million monthly active users that downloaded 450 million apps on a monthly basis. There is the Huawei App Gallery that is preloaded on all Huawei and Honor smartphones that are sold globally, and it represents an opportunity of 151 million MAUs. Then there's Mi Get Apps, which is preloaded on all Xiaomi smartphones sold outside of China. There is One Store, which is one of the largest Android marketplaces in Korea. There is TPay Mobile, which distributes your games through the mobile carriers they work with across the Middle East and Africa, which contains 350 million Android subscribers. And then you have AppTutti, which is not an app store per se, but more like a channel that can help you publish your game in China. And finally, there's the global app stores Up2Down, QApp, and ShareIt, that together represent more than 200 million MAUs. UDP is publicly available, and over 400 studios have already started using it, distributing almost 600 games and counting across all the app stores. Azure Games is one of those studios. They have used UDP to submit their game Jurassic Monster World to a new app store. To new app stores. All right. Now that we have seen how UDP works, let's sum it up. With UDP, you no longer have to worry about the store-specific SDKs, and you only need to implement a single SDK and manage a single build, and distribute your game through a single console. You retain full control over your distribution and gain access to new distribution channels. So now let's take a look at the stores that are available through UDP. There is the Samsung Galaxy Store that is preloaded on all Galaxy smartphones and tablets that are sold worldwide. It represents 400 million monthly active users that download 450 million apps on a monthly basis. There is the Huawei App Gallery that is preloaded on all Huawei and Honor smartphones that are sold globally, and it represents an opportunity of 151 million MAUs. There is Mi Get Apps, which is preloaded on all Xiaomi smartphones sold outside of China. There is One Store, which is one of the largest Android marketplaces in Korea. There is TPay Mobile, which distributes games through the mobile carriers across the Middle East and Africa region, which contains 350 million Android subscribers. And then there's Apptuti, which is not a store per se, but it is a channel that can help you publish your game in China. And finally, there's the global app stores, Up2Down, QApp, and ShareIt, that together represent more than 200 million MAUs. UDP is publicly available, and over 400 studios have already started using it, distributing almost 600 games and counting across the different stores. Azure Games is one of those studios. They have used UDP to submit their game Jurassic Monster World to new app stores, and within 2 weeks of work, they had their games featured both on the Samsung Galaxy Store and Huawei App Gallery, generating significant traction in key markets. UDP was designed to simplify the complexities that are typically associated with game distribution, and we are really happy to see that we are addressing that problem for some of you already. Last but not least, UDP is completely free for developers. Whether you have a Plus, Pro, or even a Personal Edition license, UDP is entirely free. Unity does not take a single cent from your revenue. For instance, Samsung Galaxy Store's terms are a 70-30 revenue share. You will get 70% also when you submit via UDP. The app stores are very keen on getting fresh games on their storefront, and they are providing a lot of support and visibility. The time to get on board is now. Go to unity.com/UDP to find out how you can get started. Go on and grow your game. Thank you.